number of government institutions in 6 ministries are yet to receive their salaries for the month of March. Details show that those institutions are still owed up to 13.7 billion shillings, including salaries for workers at the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Teachers Service Commission. This, as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua announced that in the coming days, county governments will receive their revenue share for the month of January 2023. Let's get more from our very own Sam Gituku.
According to the data for up to mid of April, the Kenya Revenue Authority was yet to receive 1.7 billion shillings meant for personnel emoluments. A section of semi-autonomous agencies under the Ministry of Health were owed 2.5 billion shillings, 306 million shillings for agencies under the Ministry of Energy, 845 million shillings for the National Youth Service, and 213 million shillings for sagas at the State Department of Regional Development and Northern Corridor Development. The Teachers Service Commission was owed 8 billion shillings. The government has for the last 9 months been on a tight financial space, having to service debt with 60% of its tax revenue. Between July 2022 and this month, the National Treasury has paid up to 843 billion shillings in debt servicing. This is out of debt repayment schedule of 1.36 trillion shillings for the financial year ending June 2023. An analysis of the monthly repayments shows the highest debt expenditure was in January this year, when the National Treasury spent 132 billion shillings. In February, the government spent 58 billion shillings on the same, rising to 121 billion shillings in March, partly explaining why the cash flow challenges that led to delayed salaries in the public service. At the revenue front, Kenya Revenue Authority had collected at least 1.39 trillion shillings. By the end of March, the government had borrowed up to 396 billion shillings locally and 235 billion shillings from the external market, raising at least 2 trillion shillings to finance the government's expenditure in the first 9 months of the financial year. An assessment of the expenditure trends, though, shows changing patterns. As of February this year, the government had spent 261 billion shillings on development, compared to the previous financial year, when the government had spent up to 300 billion shillings on development by February 2022. The Ruto administration has so far spent 1.37 trillion shillings on recurrent expenditure, 100 billion shillings more than the previous administration around the same time last year. On county transfers, the current administration has paid 183 billion shillings, 10 billion shillings less than last year. And as the counties continue to wait for their share of revenue for the 4 months of 2023, reports indicate that the National Treasury has resolved to release over 31 billion shillings meant for the month of January, the plan being to pay the pending releases in the coming weeks to reduce the backlog. The Deputy President says that will be soon.
We are paying salaries by collecting revenue. So there was a slight delay, but all salaries have now been paid. So we are collecting some more money, and shortly the governors will do another disbursement to enable our counties function.
The delayed disbursements have caused challenges in implementing county programs and budget plans. Sam Gituku, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
All right, Gituks, thanks so much for